All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to get into baseball now that yesterday pitchers and catchers officially reported.
Oh
So
boy.
that means the Bronx Bombers are getting closer to going to the World Series. What do you say, Frank?
Yeah, honestly, my opinion, I think you guys have a freaking cakewalk to the World Series.
I hope
You
you're
guys
right,
have
man.
absolutely no competition in the American League whatsoever.
I hope so.
Houston, supposedly they have the second best odds in the American League behind you guys. Then the White Sox, and then
That
Toronto.
has to be based on recent history.
But
Just
yeah,
yesterday.
first of all, Houston, I have no faith in. White Sox are
Exactly.
too young. Blue Jays are too young, and the Rays are pesky. But they made a lot of trades, and I don't think the Yankees are gonna make that mistake again. But the only thing,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, that it hasn't hurt them honestly because their offense is just ridiculous. They score at a ridiculous pace, but your pitching is a big question mark because outside of Garrett Cole and then whenever Sevy comes back and he's still going to be an if whenever he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Kluber hasn't pitched in 2 years, and James Taillon's coming off Tommy John, and I think I heard it's his second Tommy John surgery. I don't know if that's true or not, but he hasn't been the pitcher he once was. Was supposed to be. Being drafted. So I feel like you guys lost out on bringing back Tanaka because he was a known. You guys knew what you were getting from Tanaka.
Right.
Kluber, you don't really necessarily know. He has a big upside. Don't get me wrong, but he's still injury prone. I don't really know what the hell you guys are gonna do with that. Honestly, if he goes down and Tyon goes down, then you guys are gonna have to rely on like Devi Garcia, Clark Schmidt, and Montgomery. And then again, I know your offense is big, but are those guys gonna be able to outpitch other guys, especially if Kluber and maybe Tyon are out when it comes to the postseason? That's gonna be the big question mark for you guys.
It's definitely a concern, but you know what? Any of the pitchers they have, even the healthy ones, could go down anytime too. So I know we're basing that off of their injury history in the past couple seasons, but they definitely have high potential. Definitely have a high ceiling, um, and potentially a
Honestly,
low floor. So
I wanted to contact one of my buds, but I gotta put honestly, like I just said to you, the Yankees have a cakewalk to make it to the World Series, and honestly, I want to put a. I'm gonna place a bet on the Yankees to make the World Series because honestly, in my opinion, it's just inevitable. And my buddy
sure.
actually has a futures bet Yankees Mets as a potential matchup, so not a bad one.
I wonder what kind of odds you got on that one.
Honestly, I wish I had the number in front of me, but I don't. But I'm sure it's got to be like plus 1,000 or something. It's not something like that.
Hmm. That would be a nice payoff. Yeah, I hope you're right, dude, because I'm tired of these last few years. It's just potentially the Yankees going to World Series this year, yada yada yada,
Effective
and they've
without
come
making it to
short.
the World Series, bro. I'm ecstatic to hear
Uh huh.
that.
Sure you are. Yeah, yeah. How about the Mets then, huh? Huh? Oh yeah, they missed
Yeah,
out on
I know,
Trevor
I know.
Bauer.
So
Ouch.
they missed out. They missed out on getting Trevor Bauer. They did offer him a pretty reasonable contract, pretty
Yeah.
sizable contract, just like the Dodgers did, a 3 year, like $105 million deal. So you and I, when we were speaking about this, I was suggesting that he was probably going to get around 40 million in the first year. Turned out that's what he got. He's getting 40 million that first year. Then he has the potential to opt out. Uh, if he has a good season, he's opting out probably. If he doesn't have a good season, obviously he's opting back in because he's going to get like another 45 million or something that second season. So the potential to get like 85 million, those 2 years or even more, is I think it's 45 to 2 seasons, something like that. So,
Do you
dude's
feel
cashing in.
trolled? Do you
What's
feel
that?
trolled as a Mets fan from his video when he announced he's going to the Dodgers? You feel a little bit trolled?
Uh, I mean, I guess a lot of them doing that. I mean, yeah, maybe at the first moment I was like, damn, dude, like what the fuck, all this time. And but at the end of the day, I look at it as maybe as a blessing in disguise because giving him that kind of money in New York, the fans would have been on him because if he doesn't have like an ERA like around 3.2 or below that, he's gonna get shitted on for that. No way will any New York Mets fan let him down for that. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
with his personality, he'll go back at him.
exactly, and his personality, yeah, it could have been a cancer. for the clubhouse. So I'm kind of relieved that didn't happen. But you know what? It really hurts now because it all talk at the beginning of the offseason, especially when the Mets had their opening presser with Steve Cohen and Sandy Alderson, and they were like, we're going to spend, I knew they weren't going to go over the luxury tax
Sure.
in a big way, maybe in a small margin, but not in a big way. But, they were going to spend like drunken sailors, as I've been saying. But there was an expectation coming out from that, and a lot of analysts saying that the Mets were going to be in on two of the three free agents, Bauer and Springer, and Ramita being the other one. Obviously, they landed Lindor and Carrasco, which is a fabulous trade that they got. It's a tremendous trade and tremendous talents that they got out of those two guys. And a lot of Mets fans, are downplaying that, and they got to think, positive, because Lindor is a top 10 player in this league, and Carrasco, he's no slouch as a pitcher.
Right.
So,
But
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But like you said, those were trades.
Yeah,
they didn't pick to go to the Mets.
I know exactly. They were trades, but that's what I'm saying. It really hurts that we didn't sign Springer because I think he signed for 6 years, 150, and now we make that. They want to get into bidding wars, but you know what? Having us, that was so stupid. Having Steve Cohen as the new owner for the Mets would really. It was supposed to like put us over the top. We were supposed to get Springer in that situation, but I guess at the end of the day, they were really just hinging on Trevor Bauer. They were trying to bank on Trevor Bauer because I guess they wanted to make that rotation a super rotation with having DeGrom, Bauer, Carrasco, Stroman, and then Syndergaard coming back. I don't blame them, but I feel like Springer was the bigger need because center field and that the defensive center field that Springer would have provided for the short term was absolutely necessary. And his bat, along with it, you put him in the leadoff spot. Our lineup is probably the best lineup in the National League, and then probably top of the MLB, if not second, close to you guys, in the Bronx. So it really hurts that we didn't sign Springer now because it was just a year and like a chunk change now. Really, it's all it was. It was $25 million. It was essentially just what you missed, what Cano, his stupid ass, PD suspension, that money just got us. So the fact that they didn't want to go after a quote unquote bidding war and raise up the ante to go get Springer, it really hurts now because they really could have used him and our lineup now because now they're looking at Taijuan Walker as a free agent option for the starting pitching for the back end, which isn't a bad option. He had a sub-3 ERA. And I guess if you could get a guy like that might end up putting up similar numbers to Bauer, maybe not the strikeout numbers, but ERA wise, and that's what the Mets have been doing all off season long. Trevor Rosenthal, he just signed with the A's for $11 million. They missed out on Brad Hand. The Mets have been trying to get bargain deals all off season. I guess that's what annoyed some Mets fans, and honestly, it's even annoyed me a little bit because I was hoping they probably bring in a guy like James Paxton because I would like them to have a pretty dominant lefty because he's a dominant lefty when healthy. He's really good.
When healthy, yeah.
And I know he's injury prone, but again, when that guy's healthy, he's really, really good. And I would have liked them to take that gamble on him. And it sucks that he went back to the Mariners. But, that's what I'm talking about. Just all offseason, though, even with the Springer deal, they didn't want to raise up the ante and go off for all these. They've been trying to look for bargain deals, and I get it. It's been a stagnant market and financial questions and all that, and roster. They did sign Kevin Pillar and Albert Almora for center field now, which are decent signings. But again,
definitely key to your defense. Yeah,
it's definitely going to shore up the defense, but it's not like having Springer. I know Springer wouldn't have been able to play center field forever, but then again, the DH will probably be implemented permanently by the time, he would have been like in his late 30s. So it would end up working out. So it really hurt that they didn't get signed. They didn't sign Springer. I really think that's going to come back to bite them.
And it very well may be, but you know what? You still got to be happy. You got Lindor. He's one of the.
Yeah, I understand that, but they're also competing with the Braves. The Braves have Acuna, reigning MVP Freddie Freeman.
But they're a very young team. Outside of Freeman, they're young. They're a very young team.
Yeah, and I don't know how a lot of projections have the Braves finishing like third and fourth when they've won like back-to-back divisions, titles. So it really boggles my mind.
Didn't they came out with that? What was that? Fangraphs or something last week,
Yeah,
and the Mets
Fangraphs
went
and like
one win
Pacoda.
behind the Yankees.
Yeah, Fangraphs and Pacoda. I don't remember that, but I know they had one of them had the Mets running away with the division with like 10 games, and then had
Yeah, which was very
I
surprising. They put
really
them that
find that
far
hard to
ahead.
believe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they kind of totally wrote off the Braves and even the Nationals to an extent. But
I don't see Philly doing all that well. And actually, I saw news
no,
today. Realmuto fractured his thumb, so he's going to be out for about a month or so, and that's going to slow down him coming back. And who knows if the season even starts on time? And it probably will start on time. I think it's going to start on time, but it's just a matter of that DH. I really hope that
yeah,
DH.
and what kind of season is Bryce Harper going to have? I mean, overall, since he's been there, he's been pretty disappointing, right?
Yeah, I mean, he after having that MVP season in 2015, where he hit like 330 and like 30 home runs and 99
Mm-hmm.
RBIs. Uh, he's batted like 260, 270. He hasn't been like the same hitter. And he's not living up to that contract. I can tell you that right now. And you want to speak about mega deals? You saw Fernando Tatis landed a 14-year, $340 million deal, which is a crazy deal for him. Good for
Yeah,
him.
they usually never end up living up to any type of contract in sports, don't you think? They always fall short. I mean,
Yeah, I
who's really
mean,
worth 30-something million dollars a year? Come
yeah,
on.
no, you're definitely right about that. But I mean, there's some players that are worth that kind of change. I think Tatis is going to be worth it. The Atlanta
Yeah,
Braves. They, they
big
they they
news.
made a bargain deal a few years ago when they locked up Acuna to an 8-year, $100 million deal. And this guy's like a top 5 player in the game. So it's going to be it's crazy because now they have a $600 million infield. The freaking, or actually, if you want to add Hosmer's with like 100, they have like a $700 million
Yeah,
infield with
that
Hosmer,
Machado contract.
Tatis now, which is ridiculous.
Tatis could be potentially a bargain down the road. I mean, 24 million a year on
Yeah, it is a
average.
bargain. It is a bargain, of course. It's just over
It's a
14 years.
long
But again,
time.
it's a long
Yeah.
time, and anything can happen. We've seen
Oh
some
yeah,
long-term contracts in sports that
Stanton.
exactly. Stanton in
They
hockey,
gave him 13 years, I think.
DHO for the Islanders.
Oh
That
yeah,
guy's retired doing sports radio now for
PCR.
OCR. So yeah, dude, it's just I don't know. I like where the Mets are though. I'm confident in the starting pitching, and not a lot of people are confident in the starting pitching, like Michael Kay. But honestly, in my opinion, outside of DeGrom, Carrasco, Stroman, and then Syndergaard are all
Mhm.
guys that will put up numbers similar to Trevor Bauer. In my opinion, what he's going to put up to this season. And there's no way Trevor Bauer is putting up a 1.73 ERA again. Or in my opinion, I don't think he's going to put up a 2 ERA. He's not on the level of DeGrom. He's on the level of Scherzer or Garrett Cole. And he's good, but he was also playing in a mediocre division. Now he's going to have to play
Yeah,
the Padres. Now he's going to have to, he's going to be facing some stiffer competition. So it's going to be interesting to see how he pitches this year.
yeah. He's not going to be pitching against the Pirates a handful of starts a year.
And it was interleague too. So he's also playing against the Tigers, the
Oh
Royals,
sure.
the Indians.
And you look at it in the NL West, right? I mean, yeah, outside of the Padres, Diamondbacks are probably not going to be anything special. I don't even know
Rockies
anyone
aren't
on
going
the
to be
roster.
special.
Rockies are going to be
And the
bad.
Giants aren't going to be anything.
Yeah, so that's 3 teams right there.
So yeah, it's so when you really when you really look at it, the Dodgers are 1, Padres are 2. I think the Cardinals are going to finish atop of the Central, and then in the East, I think it's going to be neck and neck race between the Mets and the Braves for 1 and 2. I think it's going to come down to them. And if the Mets don't finish in the top 2 of their division, they're not making the playoffs because there's no doubt that the Padres are making it and the Dodgers are making it. So that's already a wild card spot taken. That's up.
Aren't they expanding the playoffs though?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I thought. Oh, that was just this previous season. What did they do this previous season? 7 playoff teams.
Yeah, they did, but maybe they expanded, but that's going to come down to probably the DH being implemented, and that's the whole bargaining chip right now.
Oh, sure.
That's going on right
Okay.
now that they're not adding. So hopefully they get a done deal because obviously spring training, just got underway yesterday, and games will start in a couple of weeks. So spring training games, and then the season will start in late March, presumably, and hopefully they're gonna. I think they implement. I think last year they implemented the DH like what, a week before the season started, or
Yeah.
something like that. So
Yep.
I won't be surprised if we see something like that again.
I mean, why not? Hey, I'm just glad. I'm just glad it's on its way back. I mean, this time of year, right after the Super Bowl, is usually sports purgatory. I mean, I'm not a hockey fan like you, and basketball, I'll cut in and out, but it's usually nothing going on sports wise. So I'm glad baseball's around the corner.
Yeah, man, I'm happy baseball's back because I remember last year I was so, I remember I was so the anticipation for baseball season. I was so hyped, and then unfortunately the pandemic and it wiped out pretty much the majority of the season. So hopefully we're gonna have a 162 game, if not like 150 game schedule, something like that. And baseball's back, baby.
Let's
Looking forward
go.
to it. So man, so
Yankees.
yeah, we'll see what other news comes around throughout the week. If the Mets make any notable moves, there's the potential of them. They were linked to Chris Bryant, like Kyle Hendrick rumors, Sonny Gray, Eugenio Suarez rumors because they're looking to upgrade third base also. So we'll see what the Mets do in the next couple of weeks. I hope the Mets look to maybe upgrade, starting pitching also. If they don't make a signing, it probably looks like they're going to bring in Taiwan Walker. Hopefully they bring in another reliever because I think that's might be the only iffy, which is the only iffy the Mets always have going into every season is the bullpen. But
Speaking of which,
yeah.
yeah, the Yankees signed Zach Wilson, in which the Mets were looking to bring back.
Oh yeah, Justin Wilson.
Justin Wilson, my bad. Zach Wilson, that's the quarterback we're talking about. But
Yeah.
yeah, so they brought him back.
Yep.
So that's one less piece for the Mets. But yeah, the Mets, I still think they're probably going to sign an arm before the season starts. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man, I really, if they can bring in a Chris Bryant trade for cheap because he's a 1 year contract, he's an expiring contract.
You still think that's going to happen?
Probably not. Early in the season might have looked like that, but I mean, if they could get him for like an inexpensive return, like JD Davis and a mid-level
Yeah.
prospect, a not top 10 or a not top 15 prospect, I think pull the trigger because
I don't understand why the Cubs would want to cut ties with him now. I mean, they're a competitive team.
money,
Yeah.
but they got to sign him. Look what all these teams are doing. They're cutting payrolls. A lot of teams are, especially because of the pandemic.
Yeah. Well,
And only the big market teams are living up to it. And that's what's crazy because you see the Dodgers spending like the drunken sailors. And, if the Mets would have done an ounce of that, don't get me wrong. I'm not, depressed or pissed
being
off
deprived
or,
here.
deprived because of the Lindor Carrasco trade. But, if they really would have, if they signed Springer, hands down, the division would have been theirs. I'm not even kidding because you really would have been able to go toe for toe with the Atlanta Braves in that lineup, and you wouldn't be able to go toe for toe with the Dodgers and the Padres, in my opinion, if they would have landed Springer. And everybody's confident about going toe for toe with the Padres and starting pitching, but you know what? In his early showings when he
It's still the
first
Padres.
and when Yu Darvish first came over, he was a dominant pitcher with the Rangers. And then when he went to the Dodgers via trade, he was really good. But then he got rocked by the Astros.
Yeah.
And then what happened after that? Then he got signed by the Cubs. He got signed to a nice contract, surprisingly, still. But then his first couple of years there, he wasn't that great. And then he had his only good year. He had a decent year the 2 years ago. And then this year had a pretty good year. But again, 11, 12 starts, any pitcher could have a good 11, 10, 12 starts. So, he could give you like a 3 or 4 ERA. You don't really know what's going to happen there. Blake Snell's the same kind of guy. He did win a Cy Young, but then he could come around and pitch to a 4 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You say Sonny Gray?
What's that?
Did you say Sonny Gray?
No, Blake Snell.
Oh, my bad. I thought I heard Sonny Gray.
But if I didn't say Sonny Gray, I meant Blake Snell. So it's Darvish, Blake Snell, the two guys they brought in. They have Chris Paddock. He's going to pitch to like a 3 ERA, probably like a 3.5 ERA. And then they have Mackenzie Gore, who's their prospect. They have Denzel Lamet. who's a pretty solid guy. So yeah, I think the Mets can stack up to them, especially when you got Jacob DeGrom going at the Hill. Game one of a potential matchup or any series, and then even the Dodgers. I know Bauer, Bueller, uh,
Bueller.
Kershaw, May, Urias, David Price. So they have a good rotation too. But I think the Mets can match up, especially when Syndergaard comes back. Therefore versus therefore. I think it's pretty
Gotta get
easy.
healthy, man. Just gotta get healthy.
Honestly, I know Stroman. Stroman's a really good pitcher. I think a
Right.
lot of people underestimate him, but his numbers are around like a 3.5 ERA, which is really respectable. So you know, that's what I'm saying. I think Carrasco, him, and then when you have a guy like DeGrom at the head of the stable of guys that we have, I think they're in good shape. It's just going to come down to the bullpen, in my opinion, and
Yeah,
defense.
and a couple other maybe potentially is Pete Alonso going to bounce back to his rookie
Yeah, they're
season
gonna need a big
form?
bounce back. They're gonna need a big bounce back here from Pete. He's
So
I was reading some posts from him. He's feeling confident. So it makes me feel confident as a Mets fan, and that's what we need. We need him to have a good year. I don't want to see him batting 260. I'd rather see him around 270, 280 because he's got to cut down on that uppercut. Because I know he got a little home run happy. Of course, when you hit 53 home runs and set that record, passing Aaron Judge, it's a nice milestone to have. But don't he doesn't he already said it last year. He was trying to put the team on his back a little too much and trying to do too much. But I think now we'll be able
yeah,
to take a step back and hopefully everybody around him, everybody will be able to contribute big more. I'm expecting a big year out of Jeff McNeil. I think Jeff McNeil is going to have a big year for us.
now he has more playing time with Cano out, right? So
Yeah, exactly. And I think Michael Conforto, he had a really good, I know it was a short year, but he had a really good season. He hadn't had that kind of season since like he first came into the league. When he first came into the league, he was a player that I saw hitting 330 home runs and 80, 80, 90 RBIs a year. And after year, his average was like around 270s, 260s, 250s, and he got hurt. What happens when he got hurt, and he was kind of never the same. But hopefully he turned that corner, and hopefully he could bat around 300 because he's definitely that type of hitter. I know he can. He's got a really good eye, and if he could have that year, and it's just the chemistry with the lineup. Everybody has to take good pitches, have good at bats, because that if everybody takes good quality at bats, that just sets up the next guy behind you. Because you have to make the pitcher work to make good pitches. Because if they're swinging out of the zone, then you're doing the pitcher a favor, and that's what happens a lot with the Mets. And I freaking hate it. And it doesn't matter who's on the team. So I really hope they could improve on their plate discipline because that's when they all go in slumps. That's the worst, especially when the team goes in a slump all at once, which
I hear
happens
you,
a
dude.
lot.
Both New York teams got to stay healthy. Health will be the issue now, especially because now we're extending back to normal game season, pitching wise. We've talked about that at length. So it's all going to come down to health. And, we'll find out as the season progresses. But definitely a lot of potential in Queens and in the Bronx. So
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited that baseball's back, and who knows, maybe down the line we'll be seeing a Yankees Mets World Series matchup.
I know we'll see the Yankees. I don't know about the Mets.
Yeah, it's gonna be a freaking cakewalk for you guys.
Oh, you're trying to jinx me now. You're trying to jinx us.
You already know it's a cakewalk for you guys compared to what we have. We have the Dodgers, the Padres, the Braves. Who do you guys have?
I thought I had it last year. They ended up losing to the Rays.
I know you guys literally do have the cakewalk like every other year, honestly.
Well, you know
guys,
what? We have gone against some cheating scandals. Just saying.
yeah. But also, supposedly you guys might have had your own like cheating, whatever.
That's what Met fans say.
Come on, I'm sure the Mets even had their own freaking analytic cheating thing. Who the hell knows? A lot of teams. Hey, you know what?
Well, the Mets had it.
A lot of teams were doing. A lot of teams were doing it, and the Astros were the ones that just got caught. That's the thing. So, Beltran was in your front office for a little bit. before he was our manager. You know, you want to give us all this crap because of what's been going on with the Mets and their hires, but don't forget he was you're in front office, so.
Yeah. I don't know how much he really had in I don't know how much he actually was in charge of, but
there's you don't understand. The Mets and the Yankees are two completely opposite spectrums. The Yankees, your goal is to win the World Series every year. The Mets is just try to make the playoffs and exceed expectations. That and that's really what it comes down to. And it's usually we get failures, and when it's not failures, then we exceed expectations. Like 2015, I didn't expect to get to the World Series, and we
I don't
got
know, man.
so.
I haven't seen a World Series since 2009. It's been way too
You're
long.
deprived of them, man. I hope you still keep staying deprived of them.
Oh yeah, jelly.
All right, man. Well, that's gonna do it. That's gonna wrap it up for tonight. We'll reconvene in a week from now, and we'll hopefully the Mets will have some baseball news. If not, we'll see what other news comes around. Thanks everybody for watching. Please subscribe to our video. Email us at bigapple9495@gmail.com. If you want to get on the show, you can email us. If you have anything to say, email us, or you could tweet at us at Big Apple Banter, and catch us on Facebook at Big Apple Banter. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Catch you later, dude.
Later.